All right, the watch is for September 20th, which is going to be Wednesday. You can see an extremely narrow range day on the SPY. It's worth noting that the FOMC meeting is today, and the FOMC announcement will be tomorrow at 2. So oftentimes you get kind of indecision leading into that, and maybe a little whippiness after that. So be advised that's at 2 o'clock Eastern tomorrow. Um, you know what? Real quick, I want to talk about a few calls from the chat room today, just to show you what goes on in our chat room, because the teamwork is what I'm most proud of. I've been tweeting about that all day. HMNY, if you watched my video last night, was already on our watch list for the on the overnight list that we put out the video yesterday. And when it looked like this, these are 5-minute candles, 20 minutes into the session, I said, guys, I like this. If it gets back through the open, in other words, a red to green, which would be 361. Shortly after I said that, Wayne is my partner for the trading course, and Buffalo, one of our members, both chimed in that they noticed a seller at 360 as well, a big seller, and oftentimes a big seller gets taken out, you can get a nice move, right? So the call was 361, stop about a dime below, and you can see what happened. This freaking thing went to 640. That's an insane move, 77% move on less than a dime risk. You know what? And it's back on watch for tomorrow, but it's made a, it's really extended. So when I say it's back on watch for tomorrow, it really just means we're going to watch it for the next 5 or so trading days. Hopefully we get a nice setup again. Usually the day after a big move like this and the daily looks like this, usually the next day is not the time to try to trade it. CAPR was also on watch and chat. You can see the big move it made there. My call was on this 5-minute pullback. Very clean, lower volume pullback after the pop. The daily chart looked good. Called a 5-minute buy setup, which triggered right there over the first break of a previous 5-minute candles high, which is 172. Worst case stop, it's going to be 164. So 8 cents risk. Never does stop out and ends up going, it went to 265 for a 54% move after the call on, what did I say, 8 cents risk that didn't stop out. And another highlight from today was CBI. I called this. Some of you that took the course this weekend will recognize this setup. Huge move, pullback. I called this in the 1585 area. Worst case stop 1560, and we got the really nice turn there from 1585 went to 1650. Another really nice one, and that's an example of one that we missed the big move. At no point do I ever want to chase something like this, but it doesn't mean you can't find a trade in it. So with the first pullback, very clean entry around 1585. And got a nice pop from there. So there's a few examples. Speaking of the course, we have it completely recorded and ready for anyone who didn't get to take the course this weekend. We already have the recorded version for sale. The next live course is going to be in January. And yes, we are breaking that up into 2 days. It's going to be half the course on Saturday and half on Sunday, because from 9 in the morning this past Saturday till 8 o'clock at night, myself, Wayne, and all of our students were there. And we were getting pretty tired by the end of the day. So it's going to be a 2-day deal next time. But you buy the recordings, and you can watch them over and over at your leisure and watch them a little bit at a time. It's probably a better way to take in the course. So they're up on the website for purchase right now. So I would love to have. Again, it's I promise you, it's not like any course you've ever taken. It's no rehash of stuff you can just read in trading books and Googling trading terms. It is like no other course out there. I'm very proud of it, and the feedback's been phenomenal. And a ton of work has gone into it. But every trade we show you, every chart setup we show you in that entire course, none of it's theory. None of it's, hey, look how clean this chart was. Every one of them is something we called in the chat room before it triggered. And we even show you some of them after we go over setups. We show you some of them as they're setting up, and then we give you a quiz. Hey, is this one setup X? Well, I won't name the setups here, but and then you have to determine if it's meeting the parameters. So, I mean, it is a very thorough, very well thought out course. Promise you, it's not like any other course you've ever taken. All right, so the watch list for Wednesday. MBOT, nice volume spike here, and it's really kind of flagging this one. And if you look at it intraday, closed nice and strong. So this one looks pretty good, actually. I like this, kind of over this 3-day flag. So definitely going to watch that one. NLNK. This one, and you know what? As on an intraday basis, as this was getting near the 20-day, I said this might be worth a look for a reversal. And this was on an intraday basis when it was down here. I didn't make a call or a trade in it, though. But I do like the fact that, this is the area I was talking about. It bounced, pulled back, lower high, and then took out this high. So it got pretty close to being back to the open. So now you've got a bit of a bottoming tail. Maybe these buyers stepping in what we call the buy zone between the 8 and 20-day moving average. Maybe that bounce continues tomorrow. Made a massive move, as you can see, about a week and a half ago. So I think it's worth watching. PGNX was on the list coming into today. I didn't take any trade in it, didn't make any calls in it, but now you have this big pop on nice volume, and then you've got a nice inside candle. So I like this over 722 tomorrow, with a potential to break through this 735 and maybe head up to the 200-day. So it's a pretty clean setup. Want to watch PGNX, CATB. After this breakout through the, through like the $1.50 area on decent volume. It's really been flagging ever since. So this one might break this flag, head up to the 200-day. Certainly worth watching. ZTO had this nice volume spike here 4 sessions ago and is flagging. We're going to look for a possible flag break and maybe a move up to that $16 area. AOBC. This one and Ruger. This is the old Smith & Wesson that's now called American Outdoor Brands. I prefer Smith & Wesson, but they didn't ask me. This one had a huge intraday pop on some announcement or something, something about our government and relaxing gun sales, or I don't know. I don't really care, but as a trader, really, really nice move. And it held up fairly well. So this one here's Ruger. Ruger's a tougher trader, RGR, because it gets really goofy spready. So I would prefer, if I was going to trade one of those, to trade AOBC. So both of those could be on watch though. So AOBC goes on watch for tomorrow. Don't know what I'm looking for. I just feel like I'll know it when I see it. I'll call it in chat if it gives a good setup. HMNY, I already talked about this one. Massive candle there. I'm not going to chase it tomorrow, but it's so strong and it's a lower float stock. Keep this one on your radar for, the next 5 to 7 trading days, in my opinion. Tomorrow might not be the right day to be, to be trading it, but we'll see. We'll know it when we see it, right? ROSG, big volume spike and a pretty strong close. This has always been a tough trader and almost never follows through, as you can see from the chart. But with that kind of a relative volume on the stock, I'm going to put it on watch tomorrow. CAPR, again, I showed you this one, called this one on a 5-minute buy setup right there with a stop right there and made a huge move. This is kind of like HMNY in that huge move. Tomorrow's probably not the right day to trade it, but let's keep this on keep it on a chart somewhere for the next 7 trading days or so. WAC, now usually I don't trade the under $1 stocks, but it had this big pop here and then another big pop here, so it looks really good anyway. And then in after hours they came out with news, and it's trading at $1 right now in after hours. So this is definitely a potential gap and go tomorrow. I'll watch it and see if it gives us a setup. Well, I'm just, I'm putting in the video, but it's basically going to be a potential gap play for us tomorrow, so we'll have to treat it as such. And lastly, I have ALDX, which did a secondary offering, so that's why I had this huge move all the way back down again. I'm not much of a fan of trading something post-secondary offering, but we're still going to watch it, right? It might give a nice, clean, narrow range and then an upside break, and it might get a little bit of a mini short squeeze. But honestly, it's one of my least favorites. Again, it's still, we have no idea what it's going to do tomorrow, and it may be my best trade tomorrow. It may be no trade at all. So keep that in mind. All right. In addition to this list, we're going to add, morning gappers as we always do, and I hope to have a really nice trading day tomorrow. All right. Remember FOMC at 2, so I'll probably be done trading before then, because after that it's usually fairly whippy. But it's kind of been a personal policy to leave the market alone from 2 to 4 on FOMC days, but I will trade the morning and hopefully make some good money. All right, have a good night. See everybody tomorrow.